It was a crisp evening in Nairobi, the kind where the city's hustle fades into the promise of a quiet night. But for Scarlet Wahu, that promise turned into a nightmare she never woke from. Scarlet, just 26 years old, was the kind of woman who lit up any room she walked into, or at least that's how she presented herself to the world. Born into a family with a mix of faith and fame, she was the younger sister of Victor Kanyari, a well-known Kenyan preacher whose charismatic sermons had drawn crowds for years. Scarlet, sometimes called Scarlet or just Wahu, grew up in that shadow but carved out her own spotlight as a socialite. She was vibrant, outgoing, always sharing snippets of her life on social media, hanging out with friends, posting about self-improvement, and radiating that effortless happiness that made people scroll and envy. Just 60 days before everything ended, she'd shared a reflective post on Facebook. Your bad choices defined you yesterday, but they are not who you are today. Your future does not have to travel the same path with the same people. You can start over. It was like she was speaking to her own journey, focusing on personal growth after whatever ups and downs life had thrown her way. This episode of Beneath the Rift contains graphic description of violence and sensitive topics, including femicide and sexual assault. Listener discretion is advised, especially for those who may find such content triggering. The details shared are based on publicly available information and are presented to raise awareness about real events with respect for the victims and their families. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to the necessary people to local resources or helplines addressing gender-based violence. The holidays had been good to her. She spent Christmas and New Year's Eve with her family, laughing, bonding, the way siblings do when the year's chaos winds down. Victor later said they'd never even heard of the man who would end her life. No whispers, no introduction, not even in casual talk. Scarlet seemed to be in a very good place, doing well, as her brother puts it. But beneath that curated online persona, like so many of us, she was navigating the modern world of connections, including the risky realm of online dating. That's so scary tough. And that's where her path crossed with John Ongowa Matara, a man whose life was a tangled web of contradictions, secrets, and darkness. John Matara wasn't the kind of guy who'd stand out in a crowd, at least not at first glance. Born around 1990, making him about 34 at that time, he hailed from Kisii County, raised in a deeply religious family. His father sang in the Catholic church choir. His mother was a devoted Seventh-day Adventist. And young John, he went along to services with her, active and engaged until he finished high school. He was bright too. He attended Genesis Preparatory Primary School in Kisii Town, then Butere Boys Secondary School in Kakamega County, where he excelled. And from there, he headed to the University of Nairobi, graduating with a bachelor's degree in design. On paper, he was set up for success, a graphic designer by trade, but his real passion seemed to pour into music. Under the alias Rebellious Monk, he ran a YouTube channel since 2018, dropping reggae tracks that tackled heavy themes. societal breakdowns, youth struggles, crime, violence, and even HIV. His lyrics were raw, almost prophetic in hindsight. In one song, Time Has Proven, which racked up to 19,000 views, he sang about a broken system forcing people into desperation. Time has proven that I cannot die. Even time shall surely die. Another track, Tribulation, his most popular with over 33,000 views, lamented. In 2016, HIV still persists, mass murdering, and so on. Why invest in injecting violence? He positioned himself as a voice for the streets, representing the oppressed, justifying why crime rises when the system fails. In A Generation After Generation, he painted pictures of malnutrition, negligence, and a double coincidence of pestilence and crime. It was also ironic, given what would come to light. But Matara's life wasn't just bits and verses. He rarely visited his rural home in Kisii, and when he did, he left people scratching their heads. At his brother's funeral, he grabbed the mic and prayed in some incomprehensible language, finishing with a Rastafarian quote that shocked the mourners. Neighbors remembered him as a staunch SDA kid, but now he seemed to have drifted into Rastafari vibes. Dress and all, everything you put together. He lived in a modest one-room apartment in Kahawa West, near Kenyatta University, but his neighbors whispered about the constant stream of women coming and going. Complaints piled up. He was allegedly violent, leading to his eviction after the women and even locals raised alarms. He dabbled in politics too, by the way, briefly campaigning for a candidate in Kisii the previous year, but got knocked off after starting a fight. His family and friends puzzled over his secret life. This enigmatic shift from church boy to someone who seemed untethered. What no one knew then, was that Matara's secrets went deeper, into a pattern of predation. Investigators would later describe him as a possible serial sexual offender, part of an extortionist criminal ring that lured women through dating sites and social media. He'd meet them online, charm them into meeting up like at Airbnbs, then flip the script. Assaults, torture, sodomy, demands for money transfers via M-Pesa, access to bank details, and blackmail to keep them silent. Multiple women came forward after his arrest, recounting horrors. One even said she met him on December 29, 2023, just days before Starlet's fate. He locked her in, strangled her, and forced transfers. Others spoke of similar ordeals going back months, blaming police for slow action that might have stopped him sooner. At his Kawaya West home, DCI raids uncovered HIV testing kits, condoms, and items linking to assaults. It painted a picture of a man who preached against HIV and violence in his music, but lived a double life. Did exactly what he preached against, exploiting vulnerabilities. And so, on that fateful Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, Scarlet and Matara connected, likely through a dating app, though the exact platform was never publicly confirmed. They rented a room, Y32, on the 4th floor of Papino Apartments in South B, Nairobi, an Airbnb spot that promised discretion and comfort. CCTV footage captured them entering the building's lift around evening, looking like any couple heading in for a night together. They disembarked on the 4th floor, keys in hand, and vanished into the room. What happened next unfolded in the dead of night, and around 4 a.m. on Thursday, January 4th, Signs of a brutal struggle emerged later. The room turned chaotic, blood everywhere, dishevelled furniture. Matara launched a violent attack, stabbing Scarlet in the thigh with a kitchen knife, severing the major vein that led straight to her heart. She bled out rapidly. Autopsy reports confirmed excessive bleeding as the cause. Nothing could have saved her once that vein was cut. Police later noted blood gushing from the wound when they arrived. Though Matara didn't really stick around. He inflicted a stab wound on his stomach. Investigators believed it was self-inflicted to create a cover story, and fled the scene in blood-stained clothes. He hailed a border rider named Anthony Nyongosa, who took him to Mbagathi County Hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, back at Papino, the Airbnb's security guard grew suspicious. Matara had apparently called or messaged someone about a problem in the room before leaving, prompting the owner or guard to check. They forced entry and found the horror: Scarlet's lifeless body in a pool of blood, the scene littered with used condoms, HIV testing kits, a roll of bang, that's marijuana, a bottle of alcohol, and the blood-stained knife, presumed the murder weapon. Bloodstains marred the walls and floor. A passport was later mentioned among the items. Police from Makadara station rushed in, cordoning off the area as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations took over. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Matara's plan unraveled. Officers tipped off by the crime scene report apprehended him right there in the ward. He was 34, nursing his wound, but now facing questions that peeled back his facade. Scarlet's family was notified, plunging them into grief. Victor Kanyari spoke of the tragedy, heartbroken that his sister, who was doing well in life, had been snatched away. The autopsy happened the next day. That was a Friday, on January 5th, confirming the stabbing and rapid blood loss. By Saturday, January 6th, Scarlet was laid to rest in a private 3-hour ceremony at the family home in Kamulu, Machakos County. Gates closed to outsiders after the neighbors got a brief glimpse of the body. It was swift, somber, just family mourning a light extinguished too soon. But the story didn't end with the burial. As news spread, more women emerged from the shadows, recording statements at Makadara Police Headquarters. By Sunday, January 7th, the DCI publicly labeled Matara a potential serial offender, urging victims to come forward. One woman detailed meeting him via a dating site, not mentioned though, enduring strangulation and extortion just days prior. Others recounted assaults stretching back 7 months, torture, theft, demands for M-Pesa transfers, and financial details. Police lamented the delays. If earlier reports had been acted on faster, if those women came out faster, Scarlet might still be alive. Raids on Matara's homes in Kisii and Kahawa West yielded more damning evidence. Those HIV kits and condoms, tools of his alleged trade. Even his music took on a sinister tone. Lyrics about immortality and justifying crime now seemed like confessions. Matara was charged with murder and held in custody. His sides of the story trickled out through leaks and court filings. He claimed self-defense or some altercation, even contacting his sister that night, but details were murky. By mid-January, he was remanded for 14 days as investigations deepened. The case spot highlighted Kenya's femicide epidemic. At least 16 women killed by partners that January alone, over 500 since 2016. often after patterns of abuse. Scarlet's death fueled protests. Thousands marched in Nairobi, demanding femicide be declared a national crisis, better shelters, education on gender-based violence, and swifter justice. Of course, vigils happened on February 14th, and it was dubbed Dark Valentine. It honored victims like Scarlet and Grace Wangari, another victim that was stabbed that month, with families, activists, and artists calling for change. Yet, underreporting and societal normalization persisted, miscategorizing these killings as mere crimes of passion. They like to downplay it. The trial dragged into 2025, unfolding at Milimani High Court. As of October 2025, 19 witnesses were expected, but recent hearings featured graphic testimonies from guards spotting Matara fleeing in bloodstained clothes and a CCTV expert unable to fully identify him. Yet, evidence like the knife, condoms, and HIV kits mounted. Matara remained the prime suspect, his once secret life exposed, a cautionary tale of hidden dangers in digital connections. Matara, through his lawyers, claimed his life was in danger in prison, alleging physical assaults by officers. And by July 30th, 2025, the court summoned 6 witnesses, including pathologist Elizabeth Njuguna, and hearings in late July and early October saw graphic testimonies. 3 witnesses on October 2nd detailed the scene, followed by 4 more linking Matara via CCTV and guards' accounts. Evidence was tabled. The knife, used condoms, HIV kits, bloodstains, passport, crime scene photos, laying bare the grisly details. The prosecution built an airtight case, with Della Wilby, Sarah Ogweno, and Paris Minor leading. Scarlet's story, like so many in the wave of violence, ended too soon, but it sparked a reckoning. In a country grappling with femicides, her death wasn't just a headline. It was a call to protect the vulnerable, to listen to survivors, and to dismantle the systems that let predators thrive. And as the court proceedings continued, one could only hope justice would finally prevail, giving her family some semblance of peace.